And right now, I've got two men. Two men with a gut full of fear. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here.
We don't need another hero. We don't need to know the way home. All we want is what's beyond the Thunderdome.
Welcome to another episode of Go Eat Podcast. I'm Jon Randall. With me as always,
Brandon Gehringer, what's going on?
what's up, man?
What's happening?
How was your week?
It was busy, very busy.
Okay.
How was yours?
The same. I had a good week. Today was decent. Mm-hmm. You had a rough day outside, I know.
Yep, working outside all day, mowing the yard, making my little girls a little play set type thing, like, you know, swing, slide, monkey bars, stuff like that. So halfway through with that, me and my dad are messing with that. So
Okay. Well, big news this week. We are a Go Ape podcast, and there was some ape news that came out this week.
sure was.
The name of the new film.
And I guess they didn't go with my suggestion of Dance of the Planet of the Apes, which I thought would have been good.
Disappointingly.
And they went with War of the Planet of the Apes.
Which means we are not getting our three spacemen coming back from
we're
that
not.
fucking Mars mission in the first movie.
Nope.
That they set up smartly, but we're just not going to get to that
Well,
yet.
maybe they'll do something at the very end of this one.
Possibly.
But they're not going to, I mean, they're not held down to just doing 3 movies. I think sometimes we think stuff's just going to be 3 movies. I mean, the originals were 5.
Oh, no, I didn't think it was going to be a
But-
trilogy. I just kind of wish they would have started that storyline.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I wanted.
Well, it's the fact that, okay, War of the Planet of the Apes. Great. Why did we watch Dawn of the Planet of the Apes? What did that do?
it had to start the war between the
It
humans
did-
and the men.
In essence, now it did nothing. You don't even need to watch it.
Well, I saw this week, you know, that they said that they had shot a scene basically that they took out of the movie because they didn't want to box themselves in for this third film.
Okay.
And if you watch the international trailer for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, there's a shot of a carrier coming in from the ocean into the bay into San Francisco.
Okay.
Which, you know,
That's cool.
Which, you know, Gary Oldman's character, you know, remarked on. He said, you know, I've called in the military.
Right.
So maybe they took that out so as to not completely box themselves in this movie. But they were obviously already going to start that in the last film and go ahead and do this. But you know, whatever.
Yeah, I like Dawn of the Apes, but I think it weakens the film if they're just not going to have a big war.
Yeah,
It just weakens the setting of it. I mean, if you think about all the other movies, they all started something or did something in a big way. Even, you know, I mean, like, you know, Escape, Beneath, they all started something big and they have their own weight. To me, it just completely takes the weight out of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. If they're now just going to have Caesar and we're fighting, and, I mean, really, it was, I guess maybe Dawn of the Planet of the Apes should have been, you know, something about Koba, like name it something, internal conflict on Planet of the Apes. You know? I mean, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I knew that we were going to probably do that, so I wasn't completely shocked and angry by it. But if that's
last moments of peace between humans and apes.
I guess.
Planet of the Apes.
They had that. I mean, I don't know. It just the movie doesn't connect on a feeling like the way the first one did, the way that Rise did, and it doesn't ramp up enough to really justify it, in my opinion. And then it's got such a dubious ending of shaking your head and, you know, wondering about science that how these things can possibly be happening. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of disappointing, but they're trying to obviously work more on the Caesar. I don't think Caesar has anything to do with it. I think it's just Andy Serkis and their great special effects making these apes look great. I'm not like, wow, Caesar's awesome. Do we ever say that, or do we say Andy Serkis is awesome? You know, so.
And my whole thing is everybody acts like, oh, without Caesar, we can't have Andy Serkis. Just let him.
Yeah, we've already
do motion capture for somebody else.
Yeah, we've talked
Doesn't
about
matter.
that. It's okay. War of the Planet of the Apes is.
I'm sure it'll be good. I like these first two.
Oh yeah, it'll be good. It's
I
I feel like they've weakened that movie. Now.
Like I said, we both commented on during Rise that you see the news report in the background of the movie about 3 astronauts going onto a mission to Mars. Like
Lost.
Yeah, and being lost. Like, that's what I want back. I want them back. I want them to do that story that they set up real subtle in the background of the film that, only people with keen ape eyes like ourselves caught.
Yes.
So.
Well, maybe, like I said, maybe at the end of this movie they'll then do that. So it's just they're just gonna keep prodding us along. Mm-hmm. But, it is what it is. We'll see how it goes.
I've got a new segment for us this week.
Oh, shit.
It
involves you singing, right?
It does not involve me singing. This is a surprise segment for Brandon. He knows nothing about this.
Fantastic. I love surprises.
There was a lot of news out of Hollywood this week.
Oh, my.
So we're going to have 60 seconds of Hollywood. I'm going to throw things at you.
Fuck.
I'm going to throw some things at you.
All right.
And you give me your reactions. We may or may not get to everything I have in here.
Are you going to scream it whenever it starts?
No, I'm not going to scream it. I'm not going to scream it. But we're going to do 60 seconds you'll have to comment on the things. Now, you can comment as long as you want on something.
Fuck.
But if you go too long, we may not get to everything I've got.
You yell at me.
Are you ready?
Okay. Stop! Like that?
All right, here we go.
Okay.
We're going to start the timer.
All right.
Timer is going. First on the list, the new Spider-Man has been named Asa Butterfield.
What?
Asa Butterfield is going to be your new Spider-Man.
What does that mean?
That's the kid's name.
The kid that's playing?
Yes, that's the kid who played Ender in Ender's Game. He's your new Spider-Man.
He's real young. He's like a little kid, isn't he?
What do you think about that?
I haven't seen him in that movie, but I mean, I guess by the time they make it, he'll have a couple years on him.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So, yeah, I mean, that's okay, I guess.
All right, next.
I didn't know that.
They're making Underworld 5.
I saw that, and hopefully it will not be as boring as Underworld 1 through 4.
Okay. They're doing a remake of The Craft.
No comment.
Okay. They are... Owen Wilson and Jackie Chan are now going to make Shanghai Dawn.
Terrible. Bury it and bury the shovel.
Bury the shovel, huh?
That's what I say.
Okay. That's all I've got. And we were at 52 seconds.
Not bad.
So this week you got through it.
Well, you surprised me with one of those. I knew the others, but we hadn't commented or talked about them.
You didn't know about Asa Butterfield, huh?
What's this fucker's name?
Asa? A-S-A. I guess it's Asa.
Okay.
Butterfield. Butterfield. One word.
This is a type of ice cream? What is going on?
That's his name.
Okay.
He's your new Spider-Man.
All right. I haven't seen that movie, so
I haven't seen Ender's Game either,
I'll watch
man,
it.
but I don't know how I feel
I'll watch
about
it because I like science fiction, space movies. So I'll watch it and then we'll see. But maybe by the time that the movie comes out, he'll have a couple years on him. So I don't like my Spider-Man being too young.
I don't know if they're planning down the line that they're going to keep this kid for a long time or something. I just don't know what they were planning with that.
I truly don't. I don't even know if Marvel even knows what they're going to do with Spider-Man since they got him just kind of latched on. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, I don't know. But oh well. What else you got? Anything else? That was exciting. That was an exciting segment. I was. There needs to be a buzzer or something in between.
So maybe next week I'll have some more things from Hollywood for you to comment on. Just we'll fire them off to you.
All right. Well, I'll try to do what I can. Interesting.
All right.
What else you got?
Let's see. I met Patrick Warburton today.
For people who don't know, say who that is.
He was David Putty on Seinfeld, who was Elaine's boyfriend. But he played in an ill-fated show in the early 2000s called The Tick.
Yep, it's about a huge tick guy.
Yep, it's about a guy who is the Tick.
He's a superhero.
He is a superhero. He's nigh invulnerable.
Now, he does voice work, too, right, for cartoons?
He does. He does. I liked him a lot. I like the Tick. I always liked the comic book. I like the cartoon. I did not like the TV show in the early 2000s. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think it was great.
No, I would never watch that.
I have gone back and watched it. There were only like 9 episodes. Okay,
understandable.
Towards the end of those 9 episodes, like around probably episode 6, like it really starts to kind of find its
glimmer
feet.
of light.
Yeah, and it was obviously starting. It was starting to be very funny. And now that I'm older, I can actually find more humor in it. Like there are things I enjoy in it. I did like watching it. It was on Netflix. I think they've since taken it off.
Thank you, Netflix.
But anyways, I was digging around in the attic of our building,
much like a squirrel,
and I found an old poster from that time period of the Tick. And I took that today and got him to autograph it.
And you took a picture of that and you put it on Twitter.
I did put a picture of it on Twitter.
There's a little hidden something if people want to take a look.
Yeah, if people want to look at the picture real carefully.
There's a Where's Waldo moment.
Yeah, you may see something hidden in the picture, but that's up to you to find on your own. Check my Twitter. But speaking of Twitters, you can find me. I'm Abe Randall on Twitter.
I'm Savage GM on Twitter.
And of course, we are Go 8 Podcast on
That's
Twitter.
right. That's me and you. We're Go 8 Podcast.
We are Go 8 Podcast, even though you pretty much run that. So.
Well, I mean, you do all the heavy lifting here.
Yeah, that's true. I'll leave the social media to you.
Yeah, what do you do? What can you do?
So, but yeah, he autographed it. He thought it was cool, you know, because he's always liked that character. I did ask him as he was signing it because I heard a rumor that he still has one of the original costumes from the show, like when the show got
Or if
canceled.
you can still fit in it.
He said it was still true. Well, he's not really gained weight. I mean, the guy's always been in shape. He's a real big guy,
he doesn't
too.
look-
But he said, yeah, he actually does still have one of the original costumes for the show. But when I unrolled it, I was unrolling the poster when I asked him to sign it. And I was like, do you mind signing this? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, this would be the coolest thing you sign all day. And I unroll it, and of course, there's his face real huge on it in the Tick costume. He started chuckling, you know, just kind of laughed. And he's like,
y'all are good buddies now.
yeah, he signed it. So when I sent my tweet out, he favorited it. So
Oh, he did?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
He favorited the tweet that I sent out when I, just sent out that I got it autographed by him today, and it was cool meeting him. Told him thanks.
That works.
But yeah, that's been basically it. Of course, Fury Road came out yesterday.
Yeah.
Mad Max Fury Road, which
Yeah.
we will be seeing next weekend. Hopefully,
Sometime.
we'll work it out.
The podcast may show up sometime on regular schedule so that we can fit it in. I like that we're going to be able to get it in right on time, but I also don't like the fact that I won't be able to get it down. You know what I mean?
Like, you take notes. Well, we didn't do that for Dawn. We just had to go and just come back and do it.
Yeah. It'll be fine. Yeah, we're gonna go see Fury Road. It's gotten immaculate, just incredible reviews. Last I checked, it still has a 98%. 4 bad reviews out of like 200.
I hope it does well at the box office this weekend.
It's going up against Pitch Perfect 2 or Pitch Perfect 2, whatever it's called. So
Okay.
that could be a doozy. And one of the guys that I know on Twitter said that
All that means is that all the guys that are going to the theaters, they're just letting their girlfriends go see that, and they're going to the
could be.
Mad Max.
he said if Pitch Perfect 2 wins the box office, humanity over Mad Max, humanity is doomed. And of course, I wanted to say, well,
Sweet.
that's
We
the
get-
way it goes. Then,
Yeah.
I guess we're heading towards Mad Max. So in essence, you get what you want.
Awesome.
But yeah, I've heard from some people that just say it's amazing. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. And we just watched Mad Max 3, as it's known outside of America, and in America, it's known as Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, which is a cooler name
I agree.
because it has the word Thunderdome in it.
Yeah, so by the way, unlike the Road Warrior, we're now back in America to calling it Mad Max again.
Right,
So
Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
we don't have to hide it anymore. Because I guess it started to kind of get a cult following
Yeah.
when the Road Warrior came out.
Yeah.
And then, so people were ready to accept Mad Max again.
Right. So we'll jump into it, I
Yeah,
guess.
let's get into it.
All right. So this movie came out in 1985.
Okay.
It was a dud in the theater.
Yes, it was. But it had good reviews.
It did. It has like an 80% right now on Rotten Tomatoes. Do you have the numbers for how much it made? I think it only made like $40-50 million or something like that.
I'll find it for you if you want to start.
It's okay. It like I said, I saw this when I was a kid. It is a PG-13 movie. It's one of the only ones of these movies I think that's PG-13, and there's a reason why.
Yeah, there's a real good reason why. We'll get to that around the middle of our review.
Yeah, and it's well known that what the part that we're going to hit, that we're going to run into.
But the movie cost $12 million.
It's not bad.
No,
that's incredible.
It made 36.2, so it tripled its money.
Okay, I was even higher than it made.
But it's still not a lot of money. I mean,
Happened. 85 was a rough year for movies, though. You know what I mean? If you think about it, 85 had a lot of movies come out that were pretty good.
okay, I can't really think of any off the top of my head.
When did Back to the Future come out?
84, I believe. I'll look, but I believe it's 84.
You should have like a tattoo.
Karate Kid, I believe, also came out in
it had
84.
Had a really big movie year, I think. Okay, so it starts off, and it's a big aerial shot of.
Back to the Future was 85. You were right.
Yeah, because I remember 85. Just I don't know, something about it. I think it was. I remember seeing the flux capacitor readout thing. It looks like the landscape of Mars almost. It's a big kind of like red desert, but come to find out, it zooms in on a bunch of camels pulling a car, and there's a plane. You're seeing it from like a plane's view, like an airplane's view, and instantly you suspend disbelief as the airplane flies in and knocks the rider off. Like
The landing gear.
Yeah, the landing gear
hits the rider in the head.
That's a really good.
That's death.
Oh yeah, you're down for that.
So instantly from the get-go of the movie, you have to suspend all disbelief.
A little bit.
And it gets better in a second.
Yeah, you find out, you see that the pilot is gyro captain, and he has his son with him.
Now let's talk about this for a second.
Now, is this the same guy?
Is it? It's the same actor, but is he playing the same character?
I would say yes.
I gotta. So we'll get more into it here in a little bit later. But from watching the movie, right? I was thinking about it the whole movie, especially at the end of the movie. Okay. I really don't think he was supposed to be the same character.
I think it's ambiguous, but I think that it's up to you to decide if it is.
I think when Max sees him later and says, you.
Yeah.
I think he just realizes that he was the guy who stole his stuff.
Could be.
Because I don't think... Because, I mean, they never talk about anything. I don't know, man.
He doesn't play a big part in the movie.
But I hate that. I hate that in movies. When you take somebody who was in a previous film, you put them in another film, a sequel, where other things have continuity, where you're carrying over the same character, yet you make this person play somebody different.
Well, this is still Max because he talks about that he was a cop and stuff like that. So this is that Max. So to me, it's the same guy, mainly because he's still flying something. And he has a kid. He hooked up with Top Knot back in Road Warrior. Who
was a blonde.
Yeah.
And his kid's a blonde.
Well, and this supposedly is 6 years after Road Warrior. Is what I saw on Wikipedia. Never wrong, like you said. So that kid could be about 6 years old.
Yeah.
So I think this is Top Knot and his kid, and I think that they didn't really want to have a big spill at the end, a big spell about them two knowing each other.
Well, I
think the scene should have had a lot more at the end.
If that's the case,
Mad Max being like, "Hey, you."
Well, if that's the case, right, and this is the guy,
Gyro Captain,
he was supposed to go on to lead that group of people until Feral Boy grew up to become the leader of the Northern Tribes.
True.
So, what did he do? He decided he just went, I've done got this chick pregnant.
Yeah.
I'm skedaddling with my kid.
Maybe she died or something. Maybe it's just supposed to be left up kind of to your...
he just kind of...
Could be just half-assed storytelling.
Possibly so.
I mean, I think it could... I mean, it's kind of like, well, we'll just make him kind of Gyro Captain-ish. And he'll have a kid that's 6 years, about the same time.
Needless to say, I like Bruce Spence, from as the Gyro Captain.
Yeah.
I liked him as Jedediah, as we come to find by the credits. That's his name in this film. Like I said, by the credits. They never call his name in the film. Which is another thing that kind of lends to your thing of it's probably the Gyro Captain, because Max never knew his name, never got his name. So, I don't know, man.
Well, like I said, they knock him off the car. Obviously, the car doesn't run. It's running on camel power.
Yeah, it's being pulled by 6 camels.
And then it circles back around.
The kid takes over flying.
Yep.
The 6-year-old kid.
Gyro Captain jumps out of the airplane, lands directly in the driver's seat. Yabaza.
Incredible.
It's incredible. That's unlikely. That's unlikely. Gyro Captain's got a dexterity of 23.
Yeah.
He's able to fly. He's able to listen to this, people. They're flying in an airplane. And it's more like it's not a true airplane, is it?
I don't know what kind of plane that is.
It's cool looking, but he jumps out of a moving airplane, flying airplane, lands directly in the seat, and just grabs the reins.
And takes off.
Like this is an old, cart. Like this is an old, this is a
carriage.
fantasy. Yeah, this is a fantasy movie, and he's just jumped to the other, he's knocked the driver out, he's jumped to take, this is Willow. We're watching Willow here. This is Mad Mardigan or something. No, this doesn't happen. So, okay, right off the bat, it's almost, if you think about it too, it's a bit of a guess what you're about to get in this movie at certain parts. You're about to get some cartoonish.
This movie's a fucking cartoon, especially at the end of the film. I mean, we go full-blown Looney Tunes at the end of the movie.
Okay, yeah,
But now, don't get me wrong, it's good Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it's good Looney Tunes. The thing about this movie, too, is that apparently, we read about, on, of course, Wikipedia is where we get all our good knowledge.
Flawless.
Yeah, a producer had died. It says for Byron, and it was a producer that George Miller knew. And I think he said he was grieving while he was making this movie. And I think maybe he wanted something a little bit more upbeat or light, you know what I'm saying, at certain scenes.
Maybe.
And so it does have a real kind of sing-songy flow of action and how it's directed, So, anywho, obviously it shows that the guy that was knocked off was Mad Max. He has to walk. Through the desert.
In the background, someone is tearing up a didgeridoo.
Yeah, of course. It's good stuff.
There's a lot of didgeridoo going on, letting you know that we are still in Australia, people.
Yeah, well, you'll know that later when you see all the Mohawks.
Well, that's my next note.
Okay.
Mohawks, ! Run amok. That's what I had.
We love those Mohawks. He finds his boots and a dog whistle.
Yep.
And they do the sound for the dog whistle. I guess they think it's just for us. And he puts it in his mouth. So he sees a bunch of people. He's up on high. He sees a bunch of people heading towards some smoke in the distance. Obviously a town or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's Bartertown.
What kind of town?
It's a Bartertown. That's what it is.
All right.
So it looks cool. The set piece is amazing, I think. I mean, the way that they built that whole place. 'Cause I remember reading something somewhere in my vast knowledge of history about how they built that whole big city. And how it was pretty cool. A guy on a cart offers him some water and just singles him out because he's the hero of the movie.
Yeah.
It's in the script. And so nobody else.
I feel like he was trying to sell it to everybody because he was kind of coming down the line of people that were coming in from the desert. Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, this is good water here. Don't you want some of this clean water?"
Yeah, he checks it with a little...
quickly pulls out a Geiger counter.
Yeah, Geiger counter, and it goes off. And, of course, the guy laughs. It's full of radiation.
Yeah,
little fallout's not
he says a little fallout's not going to hurt you.
Yep. So Max goes and talks to... I call him the trade clerk. He's got a name on the credits. I didn't bother to figure out what it is. He's the clerk type dude.
Sure.
Big kind of fat guy. And Max says that he's looking for his camels in his car. A guy probably brought him in. So they won't let him in, and they're kind of like, "What skills?"
Because he has nothing to trade.
He's got nothing to trade. What skills you got? He said, "I've got skills." He pulls the clerk close, and all of a sudden the security freak out. And the security around there are like, they're wearing like football pads, plumes, mohawks, shirts are optional, shirts and skins, I would say.
Shirts are almost non-existent.
Yeah. So this dude does us all, I guess it's butterfly knives?
I guess.
It's like some sort of
he didn't get far with whatever he was doing.
Right. It's butterfly knives. Max pulls out a shotgun, shoots the plumes in his head, in his hat, his helmet, and it's a scene kind of out of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I put Max trades his killer instinct for time in Bartertown.
And wastes some bullets, too.
Yeah.
So the clerk says, well, he might have something to offer after all. Mm-hmm. He says, all I need is 24 hours of your life. Max agrees.
Yeah, he says, it sounds like a fair deal.
Yeah, fair deal. He's like, well, it's not.
Yeah, the clerk's like, no, not at all.
A fair deal. Max is told to drop all his weapons off. There's no weapons in Bartertown.
Yeah, it's cool, though, because Max only had 1 or 2 weapons.
1 or 2,000 weapons on his person. And it's a cool scene of him pulling out all these weapons. Boom, ka-doom, ka-doom, ka-doom.
He was maximum encumbrance.
Yeah, super encumbrance. He was really, really slowed down. And it's kind of a neat scene. And I've got here, you see Bartertown proper. And I've got here written, Bartertown is the who's who of who's ugly. As everybody looks like Phil Collins to me. And everybody's sweaty and dirty.
I don't care anymore.
And musty. And, that was funny. I got that.
I don't know if he did or not.
Max sees his camels for sale. He's like, those are my camels!
Yep. They yank him away.
Yeah. They head up, they head up a man-powered elevator, that is powered by a muscle-bound couple that are very nude almost, very greased up and very muscular. Man and a woman.
They take the elevator up the way, and you start hearing this sexy saxophone being played.
Of course, that instantly perks you up like a dog hearing some strange sound.
Of course.
You're like, saxophone?
So
there's like a building that hovers above Bartertown.
Yeah, way up the top. And the only way to get to it is by this single elevator, by these 2 greased up guys that Brandon was talking about.
Well, it's a guy and a girl. It's a guy and a girl.
Whatever they were.
It's the muscle-bound, greased up couple.
So it's sexy sax time up at the top. And behind some beads, Trader, the guy you're talking about, the desk clerk.
Yeah, trade clerk type guy.
He says, there's somebody here that wants to trade with you. Push the beads aside. Who walks out? But Whitney Houston.
It's Tina Turner.
Tina Turner. That's what I meant.
Well, there's also a blind guy in a diaper. He's the one that's playing the saxophone.
Okay.
That's what I got. Blind guy in a diaper. I think it was one of those sumo wrestlers, the things they got around the crotchular area.
Okay.
And Tina Turner walks out. She looks pretty cool. Her outfit's pretty cool. And she says, one of my favorite lines, he's just a raggedy man.
Yep.
Which, of course, very humorous.
I wrote Whitney calls Max a raggedy man.
Okay, I like the Whitney part. He's just a raggedy man. He's quickly quizzed about his skills and whatnot.
Yep.
And Max is tested, and he's offered water and fruit. She offers him some water and fruit, and they proceed to try to kill him.
Yep, they try to ambush him. Everybody.
Yeah,
up here.
I said, attack by all, kicks their asses.
Yeah.
Long story short. And she's like, you're the first to survive the audition. And you find out that her name is Entity? Something like that.
It was Auntie.
It's Entity or something.
I'm going to refer to her as Auntie for the entire film.
Auntie, go ahead. She says that she made Bartertown.
Yep.
And she needs to kill a man with subtlety.
Yeah. It's a political situation.
Yeah. And he's like, why don't you show me who this is? So she fires up a periscope that goes down, not up, down.
Yeah.
It's down periscope.
Which, with Kelsey Grammer?
Yes.
Okay.
I've never seen that.
That's a good movie.
I will never watch it. Not even for this.
Yeah,
No.
If I pick it, you will.
No. I'll rob
Wait, this note to self down Periscope.
acid in the eyes. Rob myself of my own eyesight so I don't have to watch that film.
No, then I'll give you a saxophone to play.
Yeah, shows him a periscope.
Put you in a diaper.
She calls it Underworld. This is Underworld.
Yeah. And by the way, that's how she talks. Everybody.
Yeah, she does. I'll be doing
Constantly.
that. Yeah. Well, she does it a couple times.
Yeah, every time she opens her mouth.
I just love the fact he's just a raggedy man. So there's a bunch of pigs. It's a pig. I got what did I write? I wrote pig factory, pig shit factory is what it is.
I just wrote Auntie explains town runs on shit.
Yeah, pig shit.
Essentially, what it is all the methane from the massive amounts of pig shit underneath. In Underworld, underneath the town.
Yeah.
They are using the methane to basically run all the power of the town.
Right.
And down there,
They say, who do you see down there?
there's an Underworld boss.
A big guy giving a little guy a piggyback ride is what Max says.
Yeah. This is Boss Meter that you got going
He's
here.
got a boss meter.
It's a big, massive guy, probably about 1.5 to 2 feet taller than Max. Putting this guy at 8 feet. And there
He has a huge metal helmet on.
Yes, a metal helmet on him. And then, as Brandon said, there's a little person on his back in a harness, kind of like in a chair that's attached to this guy's shoulders, and he's barking orders to everybody.
Yep. And this is the very iconic Master Blaster.
Yep, they share one name.
Yep, little
The
guy's
little guy's master.
Yep.
Big guy's blaster.
And they want They want Blaster dead. They want to kill Blaster and keep the little guy.
Yep, because Master's the brains,
He is the brains, even though he doesn't sound like it.
while Blaster is the bronze.
The bronze. Ooh, Jonathan R. Max works in the. He says, "Well, how do I get down there?" He's like, "Well, you have to go down there and work in this." He wants to get a closer look.
He's like, I don't know anything about methane.
Yeah.
And they say what to him? You know how to shovel shit, don't
Yeah.
you?
So he goes down to work in the factory so he can get a better look at Master Blaster.
He's got to scout out his enemy.
Yep. And he meets a friend, a guy named Pig Killer.
Yep.
Because it's branded across
Brandon
his chest.
across his chest because he killed a pig to feed his family.
Yep. So we've got a Jean Valjean situation going on here. And so he gets a good look at Master Blaster.
Don't bring your literature into this.
There's a guy working on Max's car, and Master wants booby trap. Disarm! Nah! And he's a fun guy. He is obviously a little person on top of a very big, large person. But he talks like real chopped up, like he's smart. But disarm! I mean, it's just hilarious.
Was he? I mean, could he speak English? I'm not trying to be funny, but like
That's how he spoke.
I'm saying other than these lines, like did he speak that way because in real life he didn't speak English?
No,
And maybe
no,
those
he
are the only words he spoke.
No. I think he can speak English.
Okay.
So there's a guy working on Max's car, another grease monkey, if you
Yep.
wish. And he says that, the car's booby trapped. Once again, he's booby trapped the car, Max has. And he wants it disarmed. And the guy said, well, I'll do it. I'll just detach the battery. Max is like, ooh, I wouldn't do that if I was you. He interjects. And they're like, how come? And he's like, well, it's my car. He says he wants to deal with Master Blaster. No deal! Disarm! So Max starts to walk away. Master quickly says, fetch. And Blaster grabs him by the throat. There's a lot of throat grabbing of Max in this movie by Blaster.
A lot.
Yep. And he's like, embargo on! And it shuts down all power to Bartertown. So all the power's off. And he can pretty much count 1, 2, 3. And here comes Auntie's call to him. And he asks, who run Bartertown? And she says, Master Blaster. Who run Bartertown? She says it again, Master Blaster. He said, say loud. And right when she says Master Blaster, he flips on a
Intercom
switch
to the whole city.
Yep. And everybody hears her say that Master Blaster run Bartertown. And he lifts embargo, so they get their power back. Max disarms the car, or he's going to get a foot in the face, is what Master says. But when he does, the car's got an alarm on it. It goes off. It freaks out Blaster, right? He's thrashing around, and he's obviously in pain of some sort. Max clues in on this. He quickly grabs his dog whistle, blows on it, The sound thus does the same to Blaster. Blaster's going nuts, right? Freaks out in pain again. And he goes back up to see Auntie, spits in his hand, she spits in hers. They got themselves a deal.
Yep.
He's going to get everything he wants. Vehicle, fuel, whatever. Anything he wants. He's going to get it. His stuff back. And so he's like, well, how are we going to do this? And he said, well, you're going to have to go to Thunderdome, pretty much. You're going to have to go to pick a fight with him. That's what you have to do. It has to be seen as being, them not having anything to do with it. The subtlety, once again, in the fight.
Right. You can't reveal that we are putting you up to this.
Right.
So, now, is this the point where she explains what Thunderdome is to him?
Well, I mean, she kind of says it.
She says basically it's a fair fight between two people.
Yep. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Yep. So it cuts to
party time.
Yeah, it cuts to party time. Now, when it cuts here, there's more sax playing. And this is where I wrote way too much saxophone in this film.
And that's a lot. And you're very, very, I'm
very pro sax.
You're pro sax.
And there was way too much sax in the film. A lot of saxophone at this point in the movie. There was a lot of saxophone.
You were like, all right, that's enough. You've hit your quota for saxophone.
So I put Max starts some shit over his car.
Because everybody's outside partying for some reason.
Yeah, and Master Blaster is going through the town on top of Max's car,
taunting
being
him
pulled like through the square around Thunderdome.
Yep.
And Max starts some shit saying it's his car. Mm-hmm. He jumps up, gets in Master's face. Blaster quickly grabs him by the throat.
Of course.
And at that point, when he's about to break Max's neck, all of Auntie's guys pull out guns and point them at them.
Correct.
And then that's when Clerk yells up.
It's Iron Bar.
Was it Iron Bar?
Yeah.
Iron Bar yells up.
He goes, Master Blaster, listen to the law. And he points up to Auntie. Now, I got to take this, okay?
All right.
From this point on, until the end of Thunderdome, it's its own little thing. It's its own little, shining star in the middle of this movie, okay? So far, it's been good.
Now, also to say real quick, up to this point in the film, it's been breakneck speed.
Oh, yeah.
I mean the movie's greatly paced. I mean, it gets right into this shit from the get-go.
Until the end of Thunderdome.
Yeah, until the end of Thunderdome.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. Thunderdome is its own shining star in the film.
So this whole thing here is... It's a mixture of Iron Bar, the Clerk, Auntie, or Auntie if you wish, all of them... And as well as the character known as Dr. Dealgood, which we both enjoy.
Who does the intro for these episodes.
Yep. All of them, they know that they're speaking to the masses, and so when they're speaking to the masses of people there, they just kind of have this air of, this is how it is, this is Thunderdome, you will fight. It's just a cool scene, and it really encompasses what's awesome about this film. Unfortunately, it never even gets anywhere closer again to this.
It's all showmanship too.
Yeah.
It's like they're all individually basically ringmasters right here doing this whole scene.
Yep.
Especially Dr. Dealgood.
He's the one that makes you feel all right.
Yeah.
So he says, Master Blaster, listen to the law. And, that's when the Clerk says, we have 2 men, 2 men have a problem. And she says, pretty much says, all right, it's time for Thunderdome.
Thunderdome it is.
Yeah, Thunderdome it is. And everybody goes nuts. And welcome to another edition of Thunderdome, is what she says. Mm-hmm. And that's when Dr. Dealgood does his cool speech, which, like you said, you can find at the beginning of
our episode.
So just go ahead, if you've forgotten it, go ahead and go back.
And then you can jump back here.
Note this time.
Yep. 3308 is where we are.
And then you come back. And he says, you know him, you love him, Blaster! And of course, Blaster walks in.
Everybody cheers.
And Thunderdome is a big metal half ball where everybody climbs on top of it. And you fight to the death.
It's a gladiator arena.
Yeah. It's yeah. And he calls Max the man with no name.
Yeah. You know this guy, the man with no name.
Also, Tina Turner says, Thunderdome! She says it very nasally, and it's very cool.
I wrote, Auntie has the best seat for Thunderdome. As from her high up loft above the entire city, she basically has she sits into a chair from up there, and it slowly comes down on a zip line straight to a platform of her own that she can stand at and look down into Thunderdome.
And then taunt everybody, you know where you are, Thunderdome. It's great, dude. So they attach bungee cords to them and put weapons all over the inside of the dome, and then they start to fight. Max is getting worked over, is what I wrote.
Yep.
Because I don't want to go through all of this fight back and forth, but he's getting worked over. He tries to do tries to do his whistle, but he's being bear hugged. Multiple HP is being popped off of him as with each bear hug, and he drops the whistle. That's detrimental because that was part of his plan. Now, so I said Max tries to do the whistle. He drops it as he's getting the business. So he's getting the business from Master Blaster, or from Just Blaster.
And Master's up at the top watching beside Tina Turner.
Yeah, with his little fists all enraged.
Well, he's worried. He's worried
he's
about Blaster.
Right? Blaster grabs some sort of... What is that thing? It's like a spear, but it's not. It's got like a big blade on the end of it. It's like a halberd or something.
You should know that name.
I should.
That.
Well, no, the problem is...
It's in so many D&D books.
Yeah, but the halberds have like 80 different names, and they're all different just on various little things. I'm not going to remember that. Nobody ever uses those.
It's a ninjatsu, is what it was.
It's a kubaratu.
It actually does look like a ninjatsu.
Oh, what about that? I'm just gibberish.
Yeah, you're just saying stuff, but I'm actually naming a weapon.
So he grabs that. There's a lot of weapon grabbing. Max grabs chainsaw.
Starts right up.
It does not start up. It's just like a normal chainsaw. It does not start up.
It's like every chainsaw ever.
And so it's a humorous scene. He's being chased by Blaster, but then he gets it to work. And now he's chasing Blaster because it's a chainsaw. Chainsaw murders.
And like all chainsaws, it stopped after about 3 minutes of being gone.
Agreed.
So it was then again useless.
Blaster has like he jumps around a bunch. He has got like a spiked mace, like some sort of big spiked mace.
Yep.
Max is smart, and he gets the spear, and he cuts Blaster's bungee cords.
Yep. So he can't hop around and maneuver as well anymore.
Yeah.
Now let me go ahead and say this: in this postmodern world, okay, that's an expensive thing that he just did.
There's no
Where
rules.
are they going to find more bungee cords?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like for the next time they got to use Thunderdome. Thanks a lot, asshole. That was an expensive thing you just did.
They should have panned over to the guy like that looked like the guy from who kept the Rancor, and he'd have been like, "Ooh!" when he cut the things.
Yeah.
So you're 100% right. And plus, I was sitting there going, I guess that's a good idea to do. Gives you a little bit more mobility to a degree, but one mistake and you're done. You know, like on those bungee cords, especially since he's got free movement down there.
Well, I mean, 2 men enter, 1 man leave.
That is true. That is, and that's said many, many times. 2 men enter, 1 man leave, and it's a bit of a slogan, if you will. So he's jumping over Blaster's weapons and stuff because now, like you said, he can't move. Max gets a huge maul. It's like a big two-handed big maul hammer.
Yeah.
He sees the whistle. He gets it. He blows it, and he proceeds to take the hammer and smash Blaster's head many times until he knocks Blaster's helmet off. So it's a pretty dramatic scene. I think it was filmed very well, too.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
That's true. Okay. All right. And then the camera pans up as Max is about to pretty much smash his skull and head all over the dirt.
Yep.
And you see that Blaster is, in fact...
a child.
He's just a child. That's what Master says. He is a very big man who obviously has Down syndrome.
Yes.
So Max is like, he spares him. He's like, oh no.
He's like, this was not. Yeah. He's like. Well, somehow, Master gets down there instantly.
He's square, and those squares he could slide right through.
But he was way up on the platform with Tina Turner.
People help him. Yeah, people help.
Okay, so they passed him down like in the labyrinth.
Yeah.
He chose down.
He chose down.
So he got in there real quick.
Yep.
And he starts yelling out like, no.
No.
He's like,
he has the mind of a child.
Right. And then Max looks up at Auntie and he goes, this wasn't part of the deal. He's like, I'm not killing him.
Right.
And when he says this wasn't part of the deal, Master starts to have a problem with that.
Yeah, he's like, what deal? What deal? And he's kind of talking to Auntie, and then there's also iron bars there. It's kind of like a back and forth, and the whole time, Master's saying, you know, what deal? What deal? I've got written here. Master runs in. He has the mind of a child, like John. See, I was getting you.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So
Auntie does one of these, and all of a sudden, there's quickly 2 arrows into Blaster's stomach.
Yeah, because
2 men enter, 1 man leave.
Iron Bar says he could. Well, Master says this place finished, and gives the old hand.
Yeah, up yours
to Auntie. And Iron Bar says, no, little man, it's only just begun. And then crossbow bolts into chest of Blaster. And then, oh no, more of that from Master.
And he's really pining over his lost Blaster.
Yep.
And Max heads to the gate and he's like, let me out.
2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
And yeah, they didn't want to let him out. Her men didn't want to let him out. And
Pig Killer's the one that instigated it
Pig
all.
Killer starts that, and then quickly Gyro Captain, not Gyro Captain, joins in and also starts chanting 2 men enter, 1 man leave. And so everybody in town starts doing it, and they're like, "You gotta uphold your own law."
And then Tina Turner jumps down from up on high.
Yeah,
she pretends to act as
Yeah.
if she's anti, and says, "Don't
quit the law on me."
Yeah, I don't quit the law on me. I made Bartertown. I made the laws. I made the rules." She says, "Bust the deal and face the wheel."
Yeah, because they had a deal together, and he didn't hold up his end.
Place is all about slogans and catchphrases.
And rhymes.
Yeah.
They're all about rhymes.
The clerk is like, "Bust the deal, face the wheel."
And everybody starts
else
chanting
starts
that.
saying it. Yep.
They're simple-minded fools, this town.
Yeah, pretty
They
good.
quickly, if you got a slogan, they're on your side.
Yeah. So this wheel is a big metal wheel. It's got a bunch of various outcomes for busting a deal.
And the Pat Sajak of the wheel is Dr. Dillgood.
Dr. Dealgood.
He's everywhere.
Yep. He makes you feel all right. So they spin the wheel. They're all watching it. It goes around, and some of the outcomes are like death, Auntie's choice,
Spin again.
spin again, acquittal.
Acquittal would have been really nice.
I think like they take your goods or something.
Yeah, something like that. Acquittal would have been good.
Yeah, acquittal would have been good.
What did he land on?
Gulag.
Oops, that's bad. And it was right beside acquittal.
Yeah, you almost got it. So out in the desert, everybody's out there. They all want to see this guy go on his little gulag. Max is backwards on a horse. He's got a horse that's got a glass container of water, I guess, to spur the horse on.
It's kind of like a carrot on a stick.
Yep.
Except it's a little vial of water that
Right.
no horse would ever try to go after.
They put a huge funny... I got a huge funny head. I don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah, it looks like some kind of like mask somebody would be wearing at Carnival.
Yeah,
And they
Carnival.
just stick it on his head.
Horse gets its ass slip. It takes off.
Yep.
A little bit later, there's power loss for Bartertown.
Yep.
And
Who can fix that?
Master can fix it, but he won't.
Yep, he pretty much tells them to go fuck themselves.
And Iron Bar's like, all right.
He's like, you're in charge, you go fix it.
Iron Bar's like, okay, cool. We're just going to lower you down amongst these pigs. He's
Yep.
very small, obviously.
He's 2'11", by the way, in real life.
Okay.
That was his height.
So Auntie brings him up and says, and he pretty much says, look, you need to, he said, like, all right, bring him back up. You need to do what Iron Bar says. Pig Killer now, he's got a monkey with him. And the monkey's got a pouch of water, and he sends him out through a grate in like a tunnel out into the desert. Max's horse goes KO, takes a little nap.
We should state that this was Max's monkey at the start of the film. It was in his carriage.
Oh, you're right.
So
Good observation.
I put monkey tracker brings water. That's what I put.
He is a good tracker.
Now I'm going to let you take over here, and I'm going to take a little snooze because the next part of the film is not good.
Yeah, all the way down to... boy.
So at this point, people, we've hit the middle of the film.
We've hit the middle of the film. This is Act 2.
We've also hit a wall.
We have a wall.
There were two directors of the film. I believe up to this point, the nonstop action was the director we know and love, George Miller. And the part coming up is...
Guy.
Sofia Coppola. I don't know. It's not good, though. Whatever's coming is not good for a little while. I mean, it's not terrible.
And I'll try to do as much as I can to save.
I wrote down a lot still here.
Okay.
But it's not terrible, but it is definitely... It's like we said, up to this point, the movie's gone at breakneck speed, and all of a sudden it just stops.
Well, it tries to tell a story.
It does.
And did we have any
It
story?
took too long, though.
Did we have any story in Road Warrior? No.
No.
Okay, and that's probably what's the issue with it. It mainly is. So his horse is KO. His horse is then swollen by the desert sand sinkhole.
Yep.
But
Max is the Atreyu to Artax.
yep. But then all of a sudden, Monkey's there.
Yep.
Gives the audience a startle. But he's got a water, which quickly drank, and then the monkey is not seen from again. I would have killed the monkey and drank his blood, but that's just me.
Well, Max took the monkey and put him in his vest. Did you notice that?
I probably was right.
He was walking with the monkey tucked into his vest, and then Max, of course, from dehydration, eventually falls on his face.
Crushes.
I don't know
dead.
how he didn't crush the monkey.
I would have drank the monkey's blood.
But then I wrote, some desert walker finds Max taking a dirt nap.
Pretty much.
That's what I put.
Yep, you see, I said found by person unknown.
Yeah.
At this point. Cliche. Very cliche.
Okay.
Pulled out of the desert. I don't know how many people in movies have pretty much been dead, passed out in the dirt, and then all of a sudden, ding, 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 ding.
To be fair, this was 1985, so at least it was doing it before everything we've seen in the last 30 years.
That's true. That is true.
So this was 3 decades ago. So it was less cliche back then, maybe.
Maybe so. Okay, so you've got it's a tribe of children that live in a water valley paradise.
Yeah, where it turns out the Lost Boys found Max.
Mm-hmm. And
there's girls there too.
And that the Lost Boys that's one of the things that this scene is kind of reminiscent of, and it's probably one of the reasons why it gets so much flack. But it does try to tell a story that I do kind of undersee the enjoyment of it to a degree. It's not exactly what I want to see in my Mad Max film, but it is what it is. So they're taking care of him. They call him Captain Walker.
Yep.
They cut his hair.
Okay.
And these are all very tribal-looking little kids. Some of them are older. Most of them, I would say, are anywhere from maybe like 6 to 10 years old.
I wrote, these kids are speaking a foreign language.
Yeah, I could tell you were having a lot of... I saw you every once in a while just kind of going, huh?
I was having to make language rolls like every 30 seconds to keep up.
Yeah, you were like, what? Yeah, they have their own kind of talk because they've not been educated. They don't have any knowing, as they say.
They're also Australian.
Yeah, they're Aussie.
With thick Australian accents.
Yep, they're very thick. So he wakes up, he freaks out, falls out of a house. He's been tied up by the leg. He's dangling over some water, so they, of course, cut the rope, and they say that he should fly. He freaks out more, and they just scream whatever he says.
Yeah, they start copying him.
Yeah, they just copy and scream whatever he says. So he's in a bit of a shock to come out of his ordeal in the desert and facing these kids. There's an older boy named Slate. He makes a dramatic entrance.
I'm glad you called his name, because I didn't. I put head kid. That's what I wrote. I
originally had older boy. Later on, they say his name, and I quickly went back and...
Good, that's a good grab.
Yep.
Because I never called his name.
He jumps down on a wire. Okay. All a big show is what I've got.
Okay.
That's not the wrestler. They call themselves the Waiting Ones. And he's like, waiting for what? Well, we're waiting for you.
Yep.
And they say, is this a test? You're testing us, aren't you? And he says, you think we might be slacking? He's like, yeah, you might be slacking. He's pretty quick on the draw, Mad Max says. And he says, no, we've got it all drawn. We've got it all written and remembered. Yep. It's all right here. And then it goes into, in essence, a story time for these children. Probably something that they do every day. It's their form of entertainment, telling stories by mouth and by drawings on walls.
Now, I like this, because I wrote, the storytellers hold up a tale, and what it is, basically, is it's a stick, and at the end of the stick, there are another group of sticks tied into a rectangle.
Yeah.
And as they're telling the story that they have kept chronicled on their cave wall with these cave drawings, they're holding it up, and it's kind of like a television focusing on each section of the cave painting that they're talking about at that time, which I thought was kind of cool, actually.
It is cool.
So, and basically they're telling the tale to all the younger kids, and they basically say, as you get older, you have to remember this story because you'll have to tell it to the ones after you.
Right.
And this is our history.
Right.
And which, given that this is in Australia, and Aborigines have a very strong, verbal history of telling tales too, which I kind of thought they were maybe trying to equal.
Kind of goes in with that, right?
But I thought it was very cool that they basically made like a television. Right. Probably some people that remember it before them, because all they call it is a tale. They're like, "Give me the tale."
Yeah.
And I just thought that was short for television, the way they were focusing on each section as they're talking about it. I
agree. It's probably the best scene with these kids. I don't have a whole bunch of animosity towards these kids.
I don't either.
I don't have a whole problem. The scene is what the scene is. It does slow the action down. And we were just ready for such a thrill ride the way that we were with Road Warrior. This can, it does kind of go on long. And then it kind of degrades a little bit in some of the stuff that it was doing, taking itself seriously. But I always like in a movie where it's, it's the exposition scene, but it's the scene that you really start to get some meat of maybe what happened in a series of movies that don't tell you much of what's happening. So I do like the way it's told. Them holding up the stick, like you said, and it tells a story drawn on the walls about a war and a nuclear bomb. There's a guy called Captain Walker who takes to the sky in an airplane. There was something called turbulence that made the airplane crash. This is, of course, the abridged version.
I just want to go ahead and state, number one, I never got that there was a bomb. I
But
never
it shows
got
a nuclear bomb.
I never got the word turbulence either. So
Well, you're probably
didn't
writing
know,
or something.
I didn't know what caused the plane crash.
Well, her voice too. I mean, the gobbledygook.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
These are good language roles by you. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So it shows the airplane kind of cracking up, and it obviously crashes.
Right.
I've just, it's, I don't know. I think it's obviously, these kids were, I guess, the children of the survivors.
Yeah.
I guess they were very young.
Yeah, I said this plane had to have been filled with like fucking babies.
Yeah, I guess so.
For all these kids to be here.
Yeah,
but
unless maybe they had.
But
some.
I mean, they had to have had some because
there's a pregnant girl that's there.
Well, they had to have had some because they basically say that Captain Walker and 20 others went for help.
Right.
So I mean, they had to have had some of these kids because like they've been gone for a long time.
Well, it says they don't need the knowing, and we can live here. The knowing being they don't the stuff from the past that they left. They saw it as a paradise. They called it Planet Earth, and it looked like a paradise. But after time, they missed what they once had. So 20 of them left for a rescue party. They wrote it on the wall, all their names, and said this was, by Captain Walker. And they told the people to wait, and somebody will come. Now, this is possibly also what I'm thinking is that there's no way that Slate and the older girl weren't alive back then. They didn't remember anything. They didn't know anything more than what was told them. Like they weren't be like, I remember Captain Walker. Or because, you know what I'm saying? So I'm almost thinking that maybe their parents died out as well, or this was, I don't know. You see what I'm saying? Like this could have been a couple generations like this. It's just, I'm just surprised there were no other adults there.
The girl's name, by the way, is Savannah Nix.
Okay. I do remember seeing that in the credits.
Yeah, that's her.
So, there's a mural type thing drawn into the wall where they obviously did. They told them somebody will wait, and, wait and somebody will come. And they start singing, they start going, Walker, Walker. And they pretty much tell him to take us home. They want him to take us home.
They pulled out a curtain.
Yeah.
And there's a drawing of Captain Walker with his arms outstretched, with all the kids basically on his arms, as if he's going to fly them away.
And he looks like
Max.
Yeah.
To which Max responds with,
"You got the wrong guy."
Yeah, that's not me. And I got news for you. We're not going anywhere. You should stay here.
He says, "This is home, and there's no tomorrow." Because they call it Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland is where they want to go.
Well, they have one of those like slide picture show things you put up to your face. Can't remember what the hell they're called. You put the little disc in, the little plastic disc, and that's also probably why they framed it up as well, because a lot of their history came from that little disc,
right?
As well, and that was probably a little disc that was because it had the airplane and Sydney and stuff like that. I think it was probably something maybe at the airport or in the airplane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably something that some
thing.
parent bought. Yeah, like at a gift shop,
right,
at the airport, and then it probably just crashed with them.
And this is a cool thing of them trying to explain not only their existence but what happened. So I do enjoy that part of the mystery about what happened in the past. So yeah, he's like, it's not me. You got the wrong guy. There's no Tomorrowland. All of a sudden, the wind kicks up when he throws his hat high into the air. That's pretty. They put a hat on him. It's obviously Captain Walker's hat. And he, if somebody gives you something and puts it on your head, I'm not going to just throw it. I don't want it. I'm just going to throw it in the air like an asshole. But he throws it in the air like an asshole. The wind picks up, and
they take it as a sign.
They take it as a sign because there's like a bird kite. Looks like a kite made out of a bird.
It takes off.
Takes off into the air. They all go running.
I think they must think that he has some kind of magical powers that because he threw his arm up, they've now got the wind to be able to take off in a plane.
Could be.
I think that's what it is.
Probably so.
Because they're like they all take off running. Basically, they all
to the desert,
scrambling out of this canyon that they live in, up to the desert. So eventually, he follows them, and what does he see?
A huge plane is in the sand in the desert.
Yeah, like the 747 that crashed, and all the kids are standing on top of it, and they're like, "All right, get us out of here."
They want to go.
Like, we got the wind at our ass. Let's go.
And so he's like, he just turns around and walks back.
Yeah, I put Max leaves moron kids.
Dramatic music is what I wrote.
Goes back to their camp.
At the camp, there's confusion and decisions made between these Aussie brats, is what I wrote. Between Slate and, what's her name?
Savannah Nix.
The older girl, Savannah Nix, wants to leave. Max tells her about Bartertown. Pretty much, he says if the desert doesn't swallow you whole, Bartertown's going to pretty much take care of you.
Yeah, because they're arguing, saying basically, like, he got here, so there's got to be something within distance that we can get to.
Right.
Now, we need to say real quick, because we haven't described what this place is that they live at. it's beyond an oasis in the desert.
Yeah,
it's
it's-
almost like a fucking forest in the middle of this desert.
It's a valley.
And they have huge amounts of fresh water. Like, so much so that they brought him in on a fucking river raft.
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously like a whole lake here. Why would you ever leave this place? Ever.
I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that them seeing the tails push them. They're not going to be deterred. Finally, he shows up, and he's essence false. You know, he's false. What they thought he was going to do. We have an escaped convict in the house, is what we have. We're receiving dog aggro at the same time.
You continue on. I'll get her back in my bedroom.
Okay. We are talking about a dog, not a female
Chloe.
woman that we know that he's put in his.
Chloe.
Get moving, you. Uh-oh, it's a fight, everybody. It's a fight. Jonathan versus dog. Get ready. Ding, ding. I got the dog.
I'm just gonna let her go. Just fuck it.
She wins. She
Right.
She
She
won.
won.
She won the fight.
I don't want to just slow down our podcast anymore. So just keep going.
Okay. So he. This is great. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That the stories when he finally shows up and he's not what they thought, and they thought they've been waiting on him for so long. She was like, "Fuck it, I've got to go do something," you know. Jonathan's at boiling point. He's at a boiling point.
She's
right
really
now.
prancing around like an asshole. Like, I won. I won.
She's like, "Oh, I really broke out of there. Oh, I'm fucking up your podcast. Your award-winning podcast is now doomed." Do you hear the prancing of my claws on this linoleum floor or tile floor, whatever the fuck it is?
This is tile.
It's tile. So, I think that's what it is, dude. I mean, your whole life is these stories about this other place, Tomorrowland and stuff.
Right.
And so she's just like, you know what? So there's some people that want to, some of the kids that want to go, some of the kids that want to stay.
He tells them to stay, and they're fucking like, well, we're out of here.
Well,
She starts leaving.
He sees a gun. One of their things is like a gun.
It's on Slate's back.
Yeah. And then there's some bullets hanging up.
Yeah, it's like some, what do you call those things? Kind of like a wind chime that they
chime.
made out of bullets. So he goes, oh, not only have I got the gun, he's like, oh, I've got a gun. Oh, I've got the bullets that go to this gun.
Right.
Hanging conveniently beside me.
She's going up a ladder type thing. He takes the bullet, the gun, and he shoots a bag of water. He tells them they're staying and they're going to live a long life here. They proceed to throw spears at him.
Well, first she
And-
says, fuck you, I'm still leaving.
Yeah,
She's like, come on.
Yeah.
So as they're leaving, he gets another bullet, puts it in, fires it. This is a real waste of bullets. I mean, they're extremely rare in this world.
They're not his. Yeah,
In this world, they're extremely rare. He fires another shot, and she's like, fuck you. She grabs a spear and chunks it at him.
And they all, some other kids start throwing spears too. He proceeds to walk up and he knocks her ass out with a punch.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
KO'd.
At night, the girl and her crew, they sneak out of the camp.
Yeah, he had tied them up, restrained them.
Yeah, the girl wakes him. A girl wakes up and they go to the airplane in the desert. A lot of the other kids are there too, and they're like, they took off towards that way. And of course, he knows that they're going to go towards Watertown. So Max says, "I need all the water that they can carry." They all drop their little pouches and stuff of water, and he's got a caddy and another kid comes with him. Okay.
Ron Howard's brother.
Yeah, Ron Howard's brother. This little girl that looks like Ron Howard's brother. It's not a compliment.
Wait. Was that a girl?
Yeah, it was a girl.
Nah.
Yeah, that's why it was so dubious.
Okay.
So he's got, like I said, he's got a caddy and another kid. They hear some screaming, and that's when the little kid shows up. I said another kid joins them. A shithead is what I wrote.
Yep.
And so they find the kids. After a while, they're traveling. They find the kids. They've gotten into a bit of a predicament.
Pickle.
Yep. And it's a sand hole. There's a kid that's about to go down into one of these sand holes.
What do you know?
Yep.
It's something exactly what he said would happen.
Yep. Max runs to try to help. They pull the people out, except for that kid down there didn't make it. Sucked up, killed by the sand.
Thanks a lot, Savannah Nix. Good
Yep.
call. I'm leaving.
Yep. They see some lights off in the distance at night. It's obviously Bartertown. It's their only chance because they're obviously too far away, I guess, with the water and
To
stuff.
go
They
back.
have to go
Yeah,
back.
because he took enough water for himself,
Yeah.
essentially.
And
And
they
then
threw theirs
two
down.
kids, wound up showing up with him. But he didn't have enough to take, 12
Right.
people back.
And it's already been a full day because he woke up in the morning, took off, and now it's nighttime.
Right.
At Bartertown.
Right.
So they sneak in through the tunnel. They're looking for Master, and they see him in a pig pen. They make contact with his boy Pig Killer, and they distract the goons. Iron Bar and some of his freaks. They free Master. There's some fighting back and forth. I'll be honest with you, this whole scene is just kind of like a melange of them sneaking, hitting people. And it's kind of this is when we're starting to get into the cartoon moment. This is the cartoon moment, okay? Like I said, they distract the goons, they free Master, they chase after the car mechanic guy. So okay, let's get this right. Max is chasing the car mechanic guy. He goes around the corner. Next thing you know, Max is running back. He's being chased by a bunch of guys. Star Wars.
Okay.
So it's a scene straight out of Star Wars with the stormtroopers and Han or Han Solo, whichever one you want to use.
All right.
And of course, I will say this was obviously 85. So yeah. So yeah, he's getting chased by a bunch of dudes. They start up a huge truck. Now this huge truck is also in essence a train. It's got a huge machine on the back of it for doing this methane gas stuff, and it has a caboose on the back.
Yeah.
So it looks the cab looks like a train.
It's like an engine with a caboose, basically.
Yeah. So Auntie's using her little periscope, and she sees Max. There's more Kid versus Iron Bar action, as he's kind of like the guy to get knocked around. The huge train, I call it a truck train, on rails is attached to pretty much the whole underworld. They start it up. It busts up a ton of stuff. It messes up all of the underground factory, the pig shit factory, and they tear off.
Yeah, I wrote Kids and Max bust out of underworld like a pirate ship from a cave that Kids freed.
That's good. That's about right.
Because that's pretty much what happens. If you've seen the end of Goonies, you've seen this scene.
Kind of.
Where all of a sudden, they just bust through a wall.
Yep, we're out of here.
It's on railroad tracks, by the way. Mm-hmm. That
have been well kept for years.
And they go on a very long way.
Bartertown runs amok with explosion and chicanery, is what I've written.
Yeah, but Bartertown's power supply is destroyed. Town goes berserk.
Auntie has to kind of quell the mob and be like, look, she tells everybody, where are you going to run? Where are you going to go? Find the little man and bring him back. We'll rebuild. Find who took him. No mercy.
Yeah. Whoever took him, no mercy to them. They die.
All these buggies tear off towards truck train.
Led by Auntie.
Yep.
She's not somebody to sit back and let others do her work.
She's a go-getter.
I put awesome scene ensues. that was most of the action I put here.
Yeah. We're finally getting
until we get to some Looney Tunes action coming up.
A little bit of Looney Tunes. The kids find a How to Speak French record LP in the Master's caboose.
No. You didn't catch that? They've had that record with them the whole time.
Oh, that's what they had? Okay.
Yeah, that was the record that
I thought they found it there.
No, they found the record player
Gotcha.
They were spinning the record player by hand.
That's right.
And they were looking at it, and they go, it's got to be. So they take their record that they've had from their old area, put it on there, and they're spinning it, but nothing's happening.
They think it's like a radio thing.
Right. They think and they start repeating what I guess Captain Walker probably did for years.
Right.
Like what he probably said for distress signal, basically. And nothing's happening. And Max reaches in from the window outside, points to the crank on the side, has a kid crank it, and then, he puts the needle down on the record. And then all of a sudden these kids start speaking French.
And they start repeating what it is. So they've this whole time they've had one of the worst record albums you could have.
I mean, yeah,
and useless too. And useless too.
Think about that for eternity. You've got
eternity.
You've had the worst record ever.
So they're taking off, and all of a sudden, they're attacked by raiders. This is a big scene here. Max jumps on a car, and there's a boy that's been with him. He's got kind of white powder on his face and black around his eyes. I call him Monkey Boy.
I call him Toodles.
Yeah, you call him Toodles. He's hitting people in the face with a frying pan. This is obviously where the cartoon scenes come in. Hitting people in the face. Movie is childlike, is what I wrote right here.
Well, not only that, but they look behind them and they see your boy Iron Bar coming up on what the hell do you call those things?
What are you talking about?
Where you're pumping,
those 2-man train things that you pump up and down.
Yeah, with your arms, somebody on each side. And
it made you die laughing.
He's by himself.
Yeah,
he's by himself.
Going ape shit. He's going ape.
Yeah, he's going ape, pumping that thing, and he's keeping up with this fucking train.
He's crazy.
And all these cars that are probably going, 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, they're passing him though.
And he's just keeping up.
Yep.
Well, he decides his arms are tired because he hops off.
Yeah, he does a couple of fierce hops. He's got high dexterity.
Extreme stunt scene here.
Yep.
He basically hops across 3 moving cars.
It's pretty cool, actually.
It did look. It's a great stunt.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's not a sex scene. He's stunt.
Stupid.
So Iron Bar shoots. He then shoots a crossbow bolt into Pig Killer's leg. It's detrimental to your leg. It's a very large crossbow too. It would have killed him. Like the blood.
It was like a harpoon.
Like extreme blood loss. Is what it would have been. Like,
Well, yeah, right there in your leg. That's an artery there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's detrimental. But somehow, all of a sudden, Iron Bar gets in front of the train, and his whole car that he's in gets demolished. Like, it explodes right in the front of the train car. But he's still alive, and he's all black on the front of the train scoop.
Yeah, the cow. Yeah, the cow plow. This is more Looney Tunes action.
He's black like a cartoon, like the way that when they smoke that explosive cigars.
Yeah, cigar, or you open a present that blows up in your face,
and it's just like, what's going on?
His whole body's black like that, and he's laying on the cow plow.
You think that would have happened in Road Warrior? No, you'd have seen people's heads exploding. So this is where you're kind of like, they pull the pin on the cab to the caboose, and the mechanic guy does the whole thing where like he stretches out to hold on to the
like Auntie tells him to pull the pin before Master gets to the locomotive part. So he pulls the pin. Master gets over to the locomotive part, and she's like, "Grab it, you idiot! Hold on!"
Yeah.
So he like falls forward, grabbing it, and now he's holding the two cars together.
I was expecting his arms and legs to go.
Yeah, Stretch Armstrong. It's just ridiculous.
That would have been off.
At this moment, this is where I put guy pulls pin, Looney Tune cartoon ensues.
Yep, pretty much.
That's what happened here.
Iron Bar is hanging on for dear life from one of those a pole that sticks out from the side of the train. He's having to jump over these rails while a boy is using a hacksaw to cut off the pole.
Yeah, the guy's hanging onto a pole. He's dodged he dodged like four like pipes basically that would have knocked him off into a ravine because they're basically going over a ravine on the tracks at this point. He dodges all of them, and he does one of these things where he looks at the camera and he smiles like, whew,
I got that.
That was close. I did it. And then he looks over, and I swear to God, it's just like a cartoon. He looks over real slow, and there's a kid with a hacksaw cutting the pole that he's hanging onto. And I'm just like, come
that's straight
on,
like Roadrunner, like
yes, it was ridiculous, man.
And they cut it. He falls into something. Every time somebody falls, it's into like a ravine, or like a bridge they're going over. So you don't see what they land in. It's a cop out, is what it is. And then,
so much for what's his name? Iron Bar. So much Iron Bar. Goodbye.
And all of a sudden, the train tracks just end up ahead with a big blockade type thing, and there's a kid on top of it. It's the kid from the plane.
He's got guns.
And he says, "This is a stick up.
Nobody moves.
Or you're all dead meat." And it's funny.
And then he hears some rumbling.
He looks off in the distance. He sees all the raiders coming.
He goes, maybe we're all dead meat.
Yeah.
He takes off running.
They all go into like an underground bunker, is what I'm going to call it.
Yeah, the kid runs down a hill. There's a car wrecked into a hill. The kid climbs into the trunk and pulls the trunk shut.
Yeah.
Like he's hiding. All of a sudden, Max gets there with all the kids. He opens the trunk, and there's a ladder just descending into the earth.
It's pretty cool.
So they all start climbing down.
They run across Gyro Captain down there, and that's the point where Max sees him and says, "You!" Because he's obviously the guy who stole this thing. And he says, we got you, we need your plane.
He goes, you got something that may save your life.
Yeah, the plane. And he's like, I don't have a plane. And all of a sudden you hear the plane
plane fire up.
That's his boys taking off. So they all run up there.
He lived in a real mansion down there, by the way.
Yeah, he had tons of stuff.
I mean, and it was huge. Like, the whole area was huge. Like, he's really been living it up at this point.
Yeah. The Monkey Boy shows up because Monkey Boy was on his own kind of car that he jumped onto.
Right.
He shows up with his car, and I don't know how he got so far away from those raiders.
I don't know how he learned how to drive a car that quick.
It's true. I didn't think about that.
Because at one point when he jumped onto the car, he was trying to steer it holding his frying pan in his hand like he was making the car move.
And that's true. He was
I don't know how he mastered driving a car.
He wore the guy's outfit. He wore the guy's whose ass he beat.
I don't know how he mastered driving a car that quick.
So they get Monkey Boy, and the raiders are headed straight for them. They take off, and Max is in, but now Max is in the Monkey Boy's car because they're too heavy.
Right.
So he's going to take in the car. He gets in ahead of the car, the plane, right, so that he can give them enough room to take off. Because like I said, they're too heavy.
And Max only knows how to do one thing, Brandon.
What's that?
He only knows how to wreck vehicles head on to kill people.
Head on. Apply directly to the forehead. Head on. Apply directly to the forehead. Head on.
I'll kill you.
Apply directly to the forehead. Head on.
Nobody remembers
Apply
that.
Apply directly to the forehead. Head on. I've been thinking about that for the last 2 episodes.
I almost punched you in the mouth.
Good. I didn't say that. That was good gag opportunities right there on both of those when we kept on saying, head on. Apply directly to the forehead. Head on.
So Max charges towards the other Raiders in a forward motion directly.
Would you say it's head on?
I would not.
Apply directly to the forehead.
So he
Slams into Iron Bar.
yeah, Iron Bar. Iron Bar's back. How's the guy still alive?
He's all black. He just got black. He's just black.
So Iron Bar's in the head car for them. Max is in his car. Now, the one thing that Max doesn't do, that he's done in the past, is he basically has the car going at a high rate of speed. He jumps out just before his vehicle smashes into Iron Bar.
He takes a little damage from that.
His vehicle runs over Iron Bar, pretty much destroys his vehicle. Now,
the airplane's able to take off.
There were roughly 7 other Raider cars there.
Right.
I don't know how Max wasn't run over when he just dove out.
That is true. He took a chance.
Yeah, he sure did.
So the airplane's able to take off. It's got all the kids in it. Now, granted, this is just the kids that took off for this thing. So get this. These are the kids that went to with her.
Right.
And the tag-alongs that went with Max.
Right.
Okay. So that's all there is. But they take off. Iron Bar's hand is like sticking out. It gives the middle finger. I don't know what's with that.
Right. Yeah, we see Iron Bar's hand in the wreckage. Right? You see it moving like you do normal cliche of, I'm still alive.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, instead of Terminator 2, where it gives the thumbs up right before he dies, Iron Bar gives us a middle finger, and we fade to black on his hand.
Yep. And then Max looks up, and he's confronted by Auntie.
Yep.
And she says, well, ain't we a pair, Raggedy Man? Ha 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 ha. Goodbye, soldier. And she leaves.
She just left him. I didn't understand that at
I don't know.
all.
I just love, ain't we a pair, Raggedy Man? And she
What happened to murdering those that took Master away?
Gotta have a happy ending to some degree.
Yeah, so ain't we just a pair, Raggedy Man? And then, goodbye,
they
soldier.
leave. He's standing there.
He's stuck. Yeah, he's just standing there in the desert by himself.
So the plane flies into a large sandstorm, and there's a slow motion scene of it flying with music, sad, kind of like weird music. Mm-hmm. And they see the remnants of a vast city destroyed, with skyscrapers and whatnot.
You see the Sydney Opera House, so you know it's Sydney.
Yep. And then it switches over to the older girl,
Savannah.
Celestra, what was her name?
Savannah Nix.
And she's telling the kind of the same story she told before about the knowing and looking back and forward and dreaming and gibberish.
Okay.
So they're obviously rebuilding society. They obviously went back and got those kids.
I don't know that they did. Maybe they just started a separate tribe.
I would have to think so, because one of the girls had a new baby.
Yeah, there
was a pregnant girl, I think, back there.
Well, and there were a lot of older looking men in that group too.
Well, yeah, older boy, 16, 17, 18. So they're obviously rebuilding civilization. She's telling the story. And there's lights that appear on in various skyscrapers.
Yep.
They said they have to remember Max. They have to remember the man, that helped them do this. Remember the story. Lights on in the city. That's the end of the film.
Well, yeah. They said that the lights on in the city. That way he can find his way there. He'll see lights in the distance at night, and other travelers will be able to see and be able to come to the city.
Or murderers can come and see.
Yeah, which is more likely in that society.
More likely, but
yeah, I don't think they ever went back and got those other kids. I think they basically started their own tribe there.
Could be.
Which, if you think about the whole thing with the gyro captain, maybe that's the northern tribe. Maybe that eventually became that tribe.
But there was no older boys other than Monkey Boy. I guess he got laid a lot.
I think
they went back and got him.
I did find this just now. Bruce Spence, as Jedediah the pilot, a marauding pilot who trades stolen goods in Bartertown. Spence previously played the gyro captain in Mad Max 2. Quote, they were well into the shoot when they offered me a part described as not the gyro captain, but kind of like the gyro captain.
Yeah, exactly.
Said Spence. They said there's a kind of reflection of him, and that they were having difficulty casting the role, so they thought to themselves, why not Bruce?
There you go.
So basically, they wanted the character to like it.
So it was kind of like a ambiguous type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that I do think that's the end of the movie, and then we have the fantastic song, We Don't Need Another Hero, in parentheses, Thunderdome, sung by Tina Turner, not written by her. It's a fantastic song.
Right.
And I will say that at the end of the movie, her little speech and stuff about remembering the past and dreams and stuff, I mean, it's a cool kind of happy ending to a post-apocalyptic world of we're rebuilding society, we're a bunch of kids, and you don't really think of kids in post-apocalyptic society or what happened to them. Or, I think their situation of them left out there like that is a unique one in the movie. Unfortunately, for the thrill ride that is Road Warrior, it's just nothing that you really want to grab onto. I think you're not going into it for that emotion. You're going into it for like freaking Master Blaster and Thunderdome and the great car scenes. So all of a sudden you get this. Granted, I think a well done dramatic story with these kids, and if you think about it, it's kind of sad that they did their whole life about this, and then it turned out to be squat. But it's neat how they created kind of their own versions of history, almost kind of like a religion almost with them, the way they thought about things. And so I really enjoy that aspect. It's just I don't enjoy it in the placement of this film. It completely puts the brakes, I will say brakes, it makes sense, on the film's action. And coming straight off of Thunderdome, it's got to be one of the just quickly stopped motion, of the movie that I can think of. I don't hate the scenes. They go on a little bit long here and there. Some of it could have been cut and trimmed down. But, yeah, it's...
Out of 5 stars, what would you give the film?
Oh, man. We do have stars, don't we?
Yeah.
I think I'd give it like a 3.5. Almost a 4.
See, because here's the thing.
3.75? I don't know.
Here's the thing. If I was going to rate all the movies, okay?
Sure.
Mad Max gets 3 stars. That's all I'm giving it.
Okay.
Because it's not bad, but it's okay. It's not great.
I agree.
I give Road Warrior 4.5.
Okay.
I give this movie 4.
Okay.
I was kind of like you at 3.75, but we can't do that.
It's
You can do halves, but not 3.75.
I got you. There's rules. There's rules about this.
There's rules. I'd still give it a 4.
Okay.
I agree. I think the part... Okay. All the stuff with the kids, obviously, was where the movie slows down. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I love the scene where they're telling the story.
Yeah, it's great.
Of... why they're there.
Yeah.
Who they are.
What happened to them.
I like that scene. It's even not so bad as to up to where they want to bust out. Mm-hmm. And they leave. Max goes to find them. And then it picks right back up once they get to Bartertown. The movie picks up again. The problem is the time when Max is first put in the gulag and exiled to where they get back to Bartertown. Even though there's good stuff in there, it's like we said, it could just be cut down. If that was probably 30 minutes of movie, they probably could have cut it down to about 20, and I think that would have helped.
Yeah.
If they just trimmed a little bit of that up. But I still think it's a good movie. Like I said, I like them retelling the story at the end, like you said, of what their new history is, stuff like that. So
I don't think you need the whole scene at all when they go and see the big airplane.
No, you don't. Yeah,
and you don't need it again when they go back and see the airplane again. I mean, it's of course it's because they've left. But that whole scene of him, like, them thinking they're going to leave because the wind blowing, that's the stuff I'm just like...
Yeah, cut that out.
Cut that crap out. But, yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of right on the area of about the same place with this movie. I don't hate the movie at all. It's not a bad movie. I think it's a good movie.
It's got some amazing stuff in it. Like I said, Thunderdome is just...
Right.
It's great.
It was PG-13. You can see that in a lot of its action towards the end. Some of its kind of hijinks. And there's literally a scene where, like, they all slide down this like pig food trough type thing all together, and it is like another Goonies moment, and they all kind of land in this feed.
Well, I believe
looking around.
I believe you said to me while we were watching it, it looks like they had too much fun on this set.
Yeah, they had too much fun. It was just once the kids get involved in stuff, and like I said, I think George Miller kind of wanted to make a bit of a more lighthearted film, and he was probably pushed maybe by from the producers and stuff. Who knows what mentality went into it? It's just. Obviously, with Fury Road, it's an R-rated film, and it's very adult, themes and stuff with it. So, could have been a variety of things with his grieving for his friend that had died. But I do like Thunderdome. It's very iconic. It's probably the most. Like Thunderdome's been in so much stuff now. Simpsons have done Thunderdome. Tons of stuff have mentioned Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves is a well-known saying in nerd circles.
So is Busted Deal Get the Wheel?
Of course, I always says that. But yeah, I love the scene whenever he confronts Master Blaster, and then Iron Bar says listen to the law, and then her Thunderdome. That whole bit there. Yeah, Raggedy Man.
I love everything with Dr. Dillgood.
I like Tina Turner too in it.
Yeah.
The part where she jumps down, she's kind of like, "This is my son, my time to shine here," and she's like, "Don't tell me the law," blah blah blah.
No, she does great in the movie, man.
It's great.
She's not a bad actress.
It's great
at all.
casting.
Yeah.
Great casting all around. Ultimately, yeah, it's still a great movie. It's a shame it didn't do well. Like I said, I think it just came out at the wrong time. And again, I think some of the critics kind of slammed it maybe in the beginning because of the, look what it had to go up against too with the second movie with Road Warrior. Talk about the
perfect
tall
film.
Order. Yeah, a tall order to fill, man, from that second film. And the only thing he could have done to really redeem it after Thunderdome, it should have just been a crazy, him and maybe another group that's there fighting against Auntie or Master Blaster. It should have just been like a bunch of chases. I would have taken out that whole middle, and I would have done just a whole other scene with other characters and stuff you could have introduced, and had another chase scene with cars. And that's the thing.
That's what I hear Fury Road is. It's
Yeah.
all chase, pretty much.
Good.
So
The thing about it too, the chases in this film, you only get them pretty much at the end. They're still nothing really compared to Road Warrior.
no,
You know what I mean? It's like it's
Well, it's literally on rails.
yeah.
As
And that
their
sucks.
vehicle, their vehicle that they were escaping in was on the railroad.
There's less. Well, for starters, there's less handheld tridents being thrown. That's a detriment. There's less large guns with huge scopes shooting stuff.
There's less Lord Humongous.
Yeah, and there's less
0%
people, less
humongous.
people catching themselves on fire. Other people's on fire.
I will say this though, when you think about it, it's kind of cool because George Miller said, "All right, we've done these chases in 2 movies now. What can we do to make it different?"
Yeah.
Well, what if your protagonist of the film is literally stuck only on one thing? Put him on railroad tracks.
Right.
It's kind of cool
Just hit the gas.
because he's like, but I'm saying but they can't maneuver. They can't go left and right. They can only go straight. So they have to figure out a way to defend that while all these other guys can maneuver around them. It's kind of cool.
I guess so, but the thing about it is that it's so willy-nilly. They're just like, hey, let's take this big truck train. Let's go. Let's bust through the wall. It's like all of a sudden Max just threw rational decision-making out the wall. He was just out the window. He was just like, okay.
The biggest problem I have with it is
Let's
that
just
this
go.
railroad system existed for that long. And then not only that, but these railroads go into this town, and then you've built up a wall into a mountain around over the
Unless
railroad
that was something
tracks.
Gyro Captain did. Not Gyro Captain. You know what I mean? That was he did that to try to stop. I don't know. What good timing that kid was out there.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in Bartertown.
Yeah.
Those railroad tracks went
yeah.
into what was Bartertown, but they had it inside of a mountain. They somehow walled that up.
This was an old mining community, maybe?
Maybe,
don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
It's still a cool film. Mel Gibson is much more in this film.
Oh yeah.
I think it helps a lot. You get to see a lot more of his mannerisms and obviously how he deals with stuff. His compassion's still there like it was in Road Warrior. Yeah, it's a cool movie. It's got a great first act. It's almost, it kind of almost reminds me of Full Metal Jacket. Full Metal Jacket's got such a great beginning. The middle is kind of a blah in Full Metal Jacket, but then I really enjoy the last bit of Full Metal Jacket. It's got a lot of action.
I don't
It's
remember a lot of
deadly. Well, everybody remembers the beginning.
Exactly. I remember boot camp.
Right, and everybody remembers the beginning of Thunderdome. With him trying to go in there, and Raggedy Man. Anytime I can say Raggedy Man, it's pretty good. And it's Thunderdome. So yeah, that's the movie. That's there, and then hopefully we'll have Fury Road for you guys.
Hopefully next week.
Hopefully next
week.
Well,
Like
we
I
gotta
said,
do something.
It may or may not be on time, but we're definitely planning on going to see it.
Yeah,
And hopefully we'll be able to review it for you next
you
week.
got Monday off.
I do.
Lisa's got Monday off.
Okay.
So we'll see. It'll be a little bit of a wait.
So maybe we may not. If anything, it may show up late Monday evening.
What
The podcast.
How much time we got?
We're at about an hour and 22 minutes right now.
Wow, that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
I would give, like I said, I would give it pretty much like what you said. It's I enjoy it, and I do enjoy a lot of the. I would say it's very quotable. It's got a lot of quotable lines in it too. With Master
Potent
Blaster,
quotables.
yeah, with Master Blaster, with Tina Turner, Iron Bar, even the clerk, whatever his name was.
Clerk.
Yeah. So yeah. Anything else we got on the back end here?
No.
I thought there was something I was going to bring up, but I can't remember what it is. I'm a bit stupid. I can't believe my brain's actually working at this point of the day. I've done so much work today.
I think you were going to tell me we don't need another hero.
We don't need another hero, and at the end of the day, all we want is what's beyond Thunderdome. Of course, you know it's got to be the song at the end here. Mm-hmm. I mean, we just got to do it. I know we have it a little bit in the thing. We might as well go into it. So I guess the music's going to be starting up right now.
Okay.
So there it is. And let's let it flow. Let's let it go for a little while.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to do a little bit longer.
You want to make out while it's going?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's Go Ape Podcast. So until next time, Jonathan, I hope that you will go ape.
Go ape.
I'm going to go ape.
Out of the ruins, out from the wreckage, can't make the same mistake this time. We are the children, last generation. We are